everybody, and welcome back to another episode. Today, I want to go over the 6 ways investors can navigate risk in 2024. You are not going to want to miss this. A lot has changed in the past 2 years since interest rates have made a historic move. This has basically been a black swan event. It's created multiple enormous bank failures. There are more regional bank failures on the way as of the time of this releasing it. You've got $2 trillion of commercial, multifamily, office space, and retail debt that is coming due that can't refinance out. There's definitely a storm ahead. So the game has changed. And I want to give you the 6 concepts that you need to put and implement in your portfolio right now to prevent a capital loss. I guarantee you, if you follow these 6, you will not lose money on your next investment. So let's jump into it today. Here are the 6, and then we'll go through them. Number 1 is multiple exit strategies. Number 2 is controlled debt. 3 is the ability to hold. 4 is forced asset appreciation. 5 is an in buyer lined up or an exit lined up. And then 6 is downside protection. So I know I just said a lot there. I want to tell you how we are using land and development deals here in Nashville, Tennessee, and implementing these 6 concepts to give this some teeth. And you can apply it to, whatever investment you want, but you want to make sure you have these 6. So let's go over multiple exit strategies. What does this look like? Well, it's pretty common that, hey, look, if I am building and selling a house, for example, that I've only got one exit strategy. But if I've underwritten that house to be able to rent and cover my debt and I can hang on to it, well, that's a different story. Now I've built in multiple exit strategies. So what do we do with land in our developments here at HBG Capital? Well, first, multiple exit strategies at the base of all of our investment. What we focus on is land that we force appreciate through rezoning or entitling. In other words, we take it from 1 or 2 or 3 houses to 100 houses, creating a significant amount of equity for ourselves and our investors. And that land can then have one of 4 exit strategies. One is we can just flip it to another developer, buy it, hold it, land bank it, wait for it to continue to appreciate anymore, or line a buyer up, boom, sell it. The second investment strategy is we could contract with a builder to develop that land and sell them finished pads. It's great because you've got an end buyer lined up already, and you've got something where you can force appreciate that asset through putting in the roads and the utilities and the water and in the sewer and the curb and the gutter to have an end product that builders want to build. So you can have an exit strategy for you to develop and sell the land. The third exit strategy is to develop it and then actually build the homes yourself. So this is another one you can implement where you can use the equity in the land that you've created by adding value through the infrastructure to then build the houses, to go get debt from a bank and be able to build these homes. And then lastly, if for some reason that doesn't work out, you can underwrite it to hold. What if you develop the land, build the houses, they don't sell, you can hopefully rent those houses out, refinance, and cover your mortgage payments. So that's how we're using the multiple exit strategies model today. The second is controlled debt. Let's talk about this a little bit. We're big fans of using private investor capital. We do a good bit of bank financing, but we supplement that and diversify with private lending as well. The great thing about using private funds, a lot of the times when you are working with a private investor, say you wanted to go get a loan from, I don't know, your rich uncle or somebody, you can control the terms of that. And so a big part of our debt portfolio that we have are terms that we basically control. And so the lender can't call the loan due for 3 years a lot of the time. Or we're working with an institution that can't get bought up by somebody else. It's a private institution, and basically call our note due like the bank can. Typically the banks are trying to get paid back as soon as possible, and they've got the ability to call your note due if you go past the timeline. They answer to a board, someone you can't get in touch with, someone that doesn't really know who you are. So it's very important to be able to do deals where you're able to control the debt on that deal, at least the terms of the debt. We've got debt deals at much higher rates than what banks are paying, but there's no monthly interest payments. There's no way we can default on it because it accrues over time. So being able to control the debt is very, very important. You don't want someone to be able to call your debt due. The third is the ability to hold. Now, we kind of named this a little bit where we talked about maybe building some houses, not being able to sell them, and then renting them out. But what if you can hold something else? We bought a piece of land literally right when interest rates went up and everybody just flocked to the sidelines. There were no builders that wanted to buy this land. But luckily, the debt and equity position that we took out on it, they could not call our note due. It was done with a private investor that wanted and was comfortable waiting for a long term. So we're able to sit and wait on that deal because we didn't have monthly mortgage payments to pay that would cause us to default. So we were able to hold that asset long term and not have to worry about getting anything called on us. Number 4 is you want to be in something where there is forced appreciation, where appreciation is almost a guarantee. We do this specifically on the front end by taking pieces of land that are good for, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 houses, usually residential or agricultural. And we take it through the process with the city to put 50, 100, 200, 300 homes on it. And when you do that, it significantly increases the value of the land. And what I love about our strategy is we do this before we buy it. We put it under contract with the seller contingent on a specific outcome. And once that outcome is achieved and all the value creation is there, we can then close on that piece of land. So we structure it in a way where there's forced asset appreciation. A lot of people will do this through, multifamily, where they renovate some units, differentiate from the competition, and increase those rents, which increases the value of that asset. So whatever it is, a lot of people will rehab a home, right? Put a lot of finishes in it that bring it up to market value. So there's a lot of different ways that you can force appreciate the value of the asset, but you want to make sure you're in something where that is the strategy and you've verified it. Number 5, having a for sure exit strategy or like an end buyer lined up. Obviously, nothing's for sure. With a lot of our land deals and development deals, what I love about them is we're usually contracting with a developer or we're contracting with a builder to purchase these as soon as we get it to where we want. And they usually have a lot of skin in the game. If it's a developer, typically they're paying for a lot of the due diligence stuff that we've got to do on it. They've got some skin in the game. If it's finished pads that a builder is purchasing from us after we put in all the infrastructure, typically we're getting a 10% deposit from them for those pads released to us. So there's significant skin in the game here. And we're usually getting multiple builders involved in the event that one backs out. So having an end buyer lineup is important. We've built and sold homes to build to rent funds, right? Kind of something that surprised us. We were selling to a lot of consumers and, we've got some build to rent funds who wanted to buy our stuff. So you can have an end buyer lined up to take you out in whatever it is you're doing. That significantly decreases your risk that you're exposed to the market or something can happen, especially when that end buyer has some skin in the game. Very important that they do. 6, downside protection. I used the land example earlier with what we're doing, but you want to have downside protection. In other words, if you do force appreciate the value of the asset, how much could the market potentially throw at you to come down and hit you upside the head? One of the recent land deals we did, we bought a piece of land for about $700,000, and you can put about 74 homes on it. We got that approved, and then we bought it. We spent the money on it. Well, that land is worth, we bought it for around, I think like a little under $10,000 per pad. And there's 74 pads, to give you an idea. We could probably sell that piece of land today for $22,000, $23,000 per pad. So there's roughly $700,000 or $800,000 of equity that we created in that piece of land. And so the market would literally have to come down almost 50% on land values in order for our equity to get wiped out. Not lose money on it. Not less than what we paid for it, but our equity that we created. So that is huge downside protection. As an investor, you should always be asking the sponsor that you're investing with, or asking the question if you are doing your own kind of deal, how much value does the asset have to lose for me to break even? How much money does the asset have to lose? Break this deal. That's going to tell you a lot about what you should be doing with that particular sponsor or that particular asset. Those are the 6 things that you can control in your investments and ways that you can navigate risk. Do me a favor, leave us a 5-star review if you get a chance. Write us a review. Let us know if you want to hear something. It only takes a second, and believe me, it gets the message out to a lot more people like you that we can help and do a lot more and create a lot more content. Till next time.